a skincare product could rewind your skin's age by a decade, I tested OneSkin's OS-O1 Face for 12 months, and here's what I found out. Hello everyone, it's Nick from A Longer Life here. Welcome back to the channel where we like to dive into all things related to longevity technology. And today I'm going to be focusing on OneSkin, and namely the OS-O1 Peptide and their product lineup that they've built around this peptide. Now, if you don't know what a peptide is, you can think of it as a short chain of amino acids or building blocks of proteins that can ultimately have signaling effects or make your body do something. Often peptides are known like BPC-157 for accelerating repair. Well, the OS-O1 peptide was one that they discovered after testing over 1,000 different peptides looking at effects in the skin. It turns out OS-O1, and this has been backed up in study after study, is actually one that can turn on repair mechanisms in your skin that clear out cellular senescence. These are cells that are older, that refuse to die, that ultimately are creating inflammation in your skin and accelerating the aging process. And one of the things that starts to happen when these senescent cells accumulate is that the skin barrier itself starts to lose its integrity. And that has a flow-on effect into your collagen and producing fine lines and wrinkles, and ultimately even things like age spots. So the real question is, does it work? Well, now I can't tell you if it will work for you. It has worked for dozens of other people in clinical trials, hundreds of people, if not thousands online, and myself very effectively. So what did I do in my own self-experiment? I used OS-O1 Face on my face for a total of 12 months. It was the only thing that I changed. I did not change anything else in my skincare protocol and my skincare regime. I simply washed my face with a microfiber cloth and some warm water. I put OS-O1 Face, about 1 to 2 pumps of it in the morning and in the evening onto my face, massaging it in evenly. And then I checked my skin health at the start, 6 months in, and 12 months in after a whole year using a VISIA scanner, which is a high-resolution skin imager that can even see into UV. It allows us to assess things like wrinkles, age spots, UV damaged spots, even the types of bacteria that we have growing on our skin. Also, it can assess the skin's smoothness and texture. Now, I've put all the details about this and the results into a detailed post write-up reviewing OneSkin and their key product lineup on my website. I'll put the link for that below in the description box. And you can also find an option to subscribe to my newsletter. If you like reviewing longevity technologies, you'll love what we have to talk about in terms of longevity mindset and how you can actually use technologies like OneSkin to hopefully live for longer. Now, I've also not only tested that product and saw great results. According to the VISIA scan results, I actually look 7 to 8 years younger after that test, after running it for 12 months. But I've also gone through in that post and I've broken down all the different active ingredients that are in each of the key items of their skincare product lineup. So not only do we have OS-O1 Face, which has 6 active ingredients, we also have the OS-O1 Eye Cream, which is actually meant to go in the periorbital region where you have thinner, more sensitive skin. And it has 3 different targeted active ingredients in it. That bottle will last you around 2 months if you use a small pump of it. We also have some thoughts on the OS-O1 Prep Cleanser, which I'm not such a big fan of. You can see I've only used about half the bottle. I think that I get away pretty effectively by using that microfiber cloth and some warm water because I'm exfoliating and cleaning off my skin very gently, which is more or less what this does. There's not a lot of data from OneSkin on how this actually helps absorb more OS-O1 into the face, so I'm not a huge believer on it. But one thing that I absolutely love is the ability to use OS-O1 on my body via OS-O1 Body, which has another 5 complementary active ingredients in it. And again, I go through all these in detail on my website. Another thing I do is go through all the ingredients and make sure there's no nasties in there. There are a few things that could be irritating to very sensitive skin, but having sensitive skin myself, I've not had any issues. And we use a Grok deep search, that's an AI-based deep search, to look at all the ingredients to make sure there's no hidden nasties in there and make sure it's something you can trust if you'd like to try it out. We also spend a little bit of time looking at the body SPF and the face SPF that OneSkin have put out. And I've also done a deep dive interview with their chief science officer, Alessandra Zonari, on how this works and how they developed it in the lab. Now, as someone who's personally visited OneSkin's laboratories in San Francisco, I know how amazing the science that they have is. Not only do they grow human skin equivalents in the lab, they also get used samples from plastic surgeries, and they put these samples and skin equivalents to the test in the laboratory, stressing them with things like ultraviolet radiation, and then can test the OS-O1 peptide and also the active ingredients on these skin samples to really fine-tune the total formulation. And I think that's probably why their outcome is so successful. Now, interestingly, in my self-experiment, I only used OS-O1 Face. I didn't use the cleanser, I didn't use the eye cream, I didn't use the SPF, and I didn't use OS-O1 Body. And so when I think about what's possible if I have that whole lineup for me in my skincare protocol, I get really excited about how healthy I can keep my skin for very much longer. I hope it's something you'll be interested in trying out. Ultimately, I would recommend you go and check out the full review. Again, the link for that is in the description box below, where we go into great detail looking at all the active ingredients and what their benefits are. Again, doing that safety check on all the inactive ingredients for you and giving you a full description of what each of those products is like to get hands-on with, including all of those before and after results of looking at my face and the amazing changes we saw in my wrinkles, my texture and smoothness, and even some stabilizing and UV damage. So go check that out on my website. It's Nick from A Longer Life here. Be sure to like and subscribe this video. If you like longevity technology reviews, we'll be along with more of them. You can count on that. Take care.